Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, I did it again. I scheduled myself to work this morning. Well, you gotta take a shift when they offer one that you want, right? So that's what happened today. They had one come available on the shift that I like to work, so I took it. Thank you, Lily. Um, so today is Tuesday, October 17th, and it is AA Day. If you're new here, welcome. Um, this is for everyone. Um, I do it for free because it can help um, uh, alcoholic or uh, someone that is trying to quit something. And for those who want to know how to help someone that they know and love become a sober person, and help them, guide them in the right direction. But we cannot harp on them for them to come to a meeting or anything like that. All we can do is just try to help them the best we can without nagging them. Because me, when I was in my drinking days, there was no way I wanted to be nagged about going to a meeting. But uh, we can suggest it to people. And I'm Sandra. I'm an alcoholic, and I scream it from the rooftops that I'm a recovering alcoholic. And yeah, so rules are no judgment, no bullying, and don't harass people. Like I said, they might be here to find ways to help someone that they know and love, or they're just here to support my channel. Because I do another part of this channel, and it is my adventures. So, uh, if you are watching the replay, thank you for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of other videos or live streams. And down at the bottom of the description, if you're watching replay, there should be a spot that says more. If you click on that, it will bring up the details, and in there I will list what book we're reading and what page and story we're on. So like today we are reading a big book, and we are on he sold himself short, and we are on page 263. And so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get a live stream from Facebook going, because I can't do the links because I don't have enough money to pay for my what's it called, membership for StreamYard. But I love StreamYard, so here we go. Hello, Facebook. Live for an AA meeting today. Let me see if I can get my phone set up so you guys can see me and hear me. Um, I'm live on YouTube, and I don't know if everybody does the YouTube thing, so we're here on Facebook. So I'm going to be looking in all different directions, so just know that I am here. If you're new here, welcome. If you're just starting your sobriety journey, I will tell you it's worth it. And what I do for my meetings is I read the AA book and tell you what chapter we're in. Right now we are in He Sold Himself Short on page 263 in the fourth edition of the big book. And so, yeah, I'm not able to see the chat in Facebook. So thank you for being here. And I'm going to start the Serenity Prayer and then get into the steps and then start reading. Thank you for sharing me out. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, step one. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. So, I'm going to start at Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob led me through all of these steps. At the moral inventory, he brought up several of my bad personality traits or character defects, such as selfishness, conceit, jealousy, carelessness, intolerance, ill temper, sarcasm, and resentments. We went over these at great length, and then he finally asked me if I wanted these defective characters removed. When I said yes, we both knelt at his desk and prayed, each of us asking to have these defects taken away. This picture is still vivid. If I live to be 100, it will always stand out in my mind. It was very impressive, and I wish that every AA could have the benefit of this type of sponsorship today. Dr. Bob always emphasized the religious angle very strongly, and I think it helped. I know it helped me. Dr. Bob then led me through the restitution step in which I made a list of all persons I had harmed and worked out the ways and the means of slowly making restitution. I made several decisions at that time. One of them was that I would try to get a group started in Chicago. The second was that I would have to return to Akron to attend meetings at least every 2 months until I did get a group started in Chicago. Third, I decided I must place this program above everything else, even my family. Because if I did not maintain my sobriety, I would lose my family anyway. If I did not maintain my sobriety, I would not have a job. If I did not maintain my sobriety, I would have no friends left. I had few enough at that time. The next day, I went back to Chicago and started a vigorous campaign among my so called friends or drinking companions. Their answer was always the same. If they needed it at any time, they would surely get in touch with me. I went to a minister and a doctor whom I still knew, and they in turn asked me how long I had been sober. When I told them 6 weeks, they were polite and said that they would contact me in case they had anyone with an alcoholic problem. Needless to say, it was a year or more before they did contact me. On my trips back to Akron to get my spirits recharged and to work with other alcoholics, I would ask Dr. Bob about this delay and wonder just what was wrong with me. He would invariably reply, "When you are right and the time is right, Providence will provide. You must always be willing and continue to make contacts." A few months after I made my original trip to Akron, I was feeling pretty cocky, and I didn't think my wife was treating me with proper respect. Now that I was an outstanding citizen, so I set out to get drunk deliberately just to teach her what she was missing. A week later, I had to get an old friend from Akron to spend 2 days sobering me up. That was my lesson. That one could not take the moral inventory and then file it away. That the alcoholic has to continue to take inventory every day if it if he expects to get well and stay well. That was my only slip. It taught me a valuable lesson. In the summer of 1938, almost a year from the time I made my original contact with Akron, the man for whom I was working and who knew about the program approached me and asked if I could do anything about one of his salesmen who was drinking very heavily. I went to the sanitarium where this chap was incarcerated and found to my surprise that he was interested. He had been wanting to do something about his drinking for a long time but did not know how. I spent several days with him, but I did not feel adequate to pass the program on to him by myself, so I suggested that he take a trip to Akron for a couple of weeks, which he did, living with one of the AA families there. When he returned, he had practically daily meetings from that time on. Or we, sorry. A few months later, one of the men who had been in touch with the group in Akron came to Chicago to live, and then there were three of us who continued to have informal meetings quite regularly. Coffee. Cheers. In the spring of 1939, the big book was printed, and we had two inquiries for the New York office because of a 15-minute radio talk that was made. Neither one of the two was interested for himself, one being a mother who wanted to do something for her son. I suggested to her that she should see her son's minister or doctor, and that perhaps he would remember the AA program. The doctor, a young man, immediately took fire with the idea, and while he did not convince the son, he turned over two prospects who were anxious for the program. The three of us did not feel up to the job, and after a few meetings, we convinced the prospect that they too should go to Akron where they could see an older group in action. In the meantime, another doctor in Evanston became convinced that the program had possibilities and turned over a woman to us to do something about. She was full of enthusiasm and also made the trip to Akron. I lost my spot. Immediately on her return in the autumn of 1939, we began to have formal meetings once a week, and we have continued to do this and to expand ever since. Occasionally, it is accorded to a few of us to watch something fine grow from a tiny kernel into something of gigantic goodness. Such has been my privilege, both nationally and in my home city. From a mere handful in Akron, we have spread throughout the world. For a single member in the Chicago area commuting to Akron, we now exceeded 6,000. These last 18 years have been the happiest of my life. Trite though that statement may seem, 15 of those years I would not have I enjoyed had I continued drinking. Doctors told me before I stopped that I had only 3 years at the outside to live. This latest part of my life has had a purpose, not in great things accomplished, but in daily living. Courage to face each day has replaced the fears and uncertainties of earlier years. Acceptance of things as they are has replaced the old impatient camping at the windmills, and instead have tried to accomplish the little daily tasks, unimportant in themselves, but tasks that are an integral part of living fully. Where decision, contempt, and pity were once shown me, I now enjoy the respect of many people. Where once I had casual acquaintances, all of whom were fair weathered friends, I now have a host of friends who accept me for what I am. And over my AA years, I have made many real, honest, sincere friendships that I shall always cherish. I'm rated as a modestly successful man. My stock of material goods isn't great, but I have a fortune in friendship, courage, self assurance, and honest appraisal of my own abilities. Above all, I have gained the greatest thing accorded to any man, the love and understanding of a gracious God, who has lifted me from the alcoholic scrap heap to a position of trust where I have been able to reap the rich reward that came from showing a little love for others and from serving them as I can. Thank you, AA, for that. Thank you, AA, for that. So, when I first started AA, I didn't feel comfortable around anybody. I didn't share any of my story. I didn't tell people that I was an alcoholic, but I was trying to convince myself I wasn't for a long time. Now, when I was a teenager, I knew I could be, and I fought to not be that until I hit my 30s. I hit 30 and I was like, heck yeah, here I go. And it was dumb. I should not have done that. Should not have done that because it for however many years, I think it was, I've been sober for almost 9 years now. And I drank a lot all day, every day. There was no stopping unless if I passed out. But even then, when I passed out, I was still thinking, how am I going to get that next one? Where am I going to go to get this next drink? Who's going to help me pay for it? Where am I going to go to get it from? Or whose door am I going to knock on? Because, yeah, I did that. And I admit it, I did that. And, it. I didn't know about what AA would help with or anything. I'd gone to one meeting with my birth father when I was younger, when I was a kid. And we were kids, so we didn't know anything about it, really. And so a friend of mine that has been my friend since I was 16 years old met in my hometown, and he said, "Why don't you meet me at a meeting?" And I have to tell you, I'm so glad he did. I'm very grateful for him to suggest it because as I had time to grow in my sobriety, when my friend slipped off, I got that friend back. So, I mean, I already did the quit drinking and then go back. So I did that before I even started AA. Because I fell down and smacked my face somewhere and I ended up cutting my eye open right here. And so after that day, I decided right there that I'm done. And so I quit for a year. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to buy this drink. It was my favorite drink of all things, of course. And it was all in one bottle. So I was surprised. And so I wanted to buy it. That was stupid. Because I drank it and I didn't stop. I didn't stop again until November 15th of 2014. And I was sober for about 6 months, I want to say, before I started AA. And I didn't get my 24-hour coin until I got my 5-year coin. So yeah, I was like, hey, I need my 24-hour. I never got that one. But the thing is no matter what, this has helped me in my sobriety. I have a sponsor. I have more than one sponsor. I have sponsees. I don't talk to them all every day. I do, however, reach out when I need somebody's help. If I'm having just a low down bad day and I feel like nothing's gonna get better, um, I reach out, and that's what you need to do. Um, I do have those times where I'm like, I need to go to a meeting. I can't take this anymore. So there is that hope out there, and like it says, like like he says, there are meetings literally everywhere, everywhere on YouTube, on Facebook, on ships, on planes. You can Google it and get an app for your phone, and it has the book right there. I mean, there's a lot of help for us who need it and who really want it. But like it also says, is you have to be able to put it above all else, which I have done. My sobriety comes first. If I am having a bad day and I feel like I'm going to venture out, I reach out first because I want to be told, hey, snap out of this. You need to think about this first. Sobriety comes first. Without sobriety, you can't do anything else. You can't keep that job. You can't keep your friends. You can't keep your family because you already got down to that part where that's all gone before. These ways I have, and I have that all back. I have a job. I have my friends, and I have my family, and I have real friends, not fake ones. So it's just the best life for me to be sober. And I've had so many wonderful days with being sober. Like my kids graduating, I got to cry real tears because they're not babies no more, right? And I got to be part of things that I probably wouldn't have been, like my goddaughter's life. She has helped me to be a different person. Um, I She was born the year I was sober. The when I Before I started AA, or maybe it was, I think it was after my first meeting that she was born. Maybe not, but she is a big part of my life, and um, I just am so grateful to have the friendships I have, to have the things that I have, to have this gift to share. It makes me emotional because I know I did it, I'm still doing it, and I know you can. You just have to want it. You have to want it. And so at the beginning of this one it says, but he found there was a higher power that had more faith in him than he had in himself. Thus, AA was born in Chicago. So I like these stories because they are from before the book. And here it says, he's I highlight. If if I think it's important, I'm gonna highlight it. I need to find a highlighter though, because every time you go through this book, you aha with something else. So it says, he said he had finally learned that drinking was a fatal illness made up of an allergy plus an obsession, and once the drinking had passed from habit to obsession, we were completely hopeless and could look forward only to spending the balance of our lives in mental institution or death, which is true. I'm glad that I stopped when I did because it is slow and painful if you let it take you. And then I want to read this. This is the day before I was due to go back to Chicago. It was Bob's afternoon off. He had me to the office and we spent 3 or 4 hours formally going through the 6 step program as it was at that time. The 6 steps were complete deflation, dependence and guidance from a higher power, moral inventory, confession, restitution, and 6, continue work with other alcoholics. If you work with other alcoholics, it works. I don't know exactly how that happens, but it just does. It works. Simple as that. It really works. I mean, after all, my sponsor just got 12 years today. And I didn't know that I was only 2 years younger than her, or 3 years younger than her. But yeah, she just got 12 years today. Congratulations. And I know she's probably watching on the Facebook side. Um, I'm proud of you and I'm proud to have you as my sponsor. And she's been my sponsor for almost 9 years. The reason she is my sponsor is one, she answered her phone when I needed someone to talk to. All I wanted to know from her was, when's the next meeting? When is the next meeting? And I went, and I'm still part of it. So the thing I do when I'm doing mine, when I am talking to a sponsee, because I never know if they're religious or if they're not, because it's not my place to worry about that. But if I already know, then it helps when you say higher power, not a God, you know, because not everybody is spiritual. They don't think that way. So AA is for everyone, no matter your religion, your race, your partner preference, or your gender. It does not have any barriers for any of that. This is for everyone, and it. So I am lucky enough to have been able to help people just become sober and live a sober life. And I have shared my recovering alcoholic life with people that I work with. I'll be talking to a boss, and I've done this once. I'll be talking to a boss, and I'll say, by the way, I'm a recovering alcoholic. There was a guy standing behind me, and I was like, huh. oh well. And so I walked away, and the guy goes, wait a minute, you're a recovering alcoholic? I said, yeah. And he says, how long do you have? I said, I think at that time it was 7 years. And he goes, really? I was like, yeah. I said, it's worth every single day. Then another friend of mine who I'm still good friends with, um, of course, from the same place of work, and we just we got hired on the same day. It was pretty cool. And so we finally started talking. She was interested in AA as well. And so that's why I started on my YouTube channel. Is that's how I can get it across to people that AA is not for everyone unless you seriously want the help. Um, that's it. That's it. You have to want the help. There's more of us than what people think. You're not alone. You're so not alone. So not alone. And you're not the first one. And you're not going to be the last one. I mean, it happens. And not every one of us gets out of it. But if we pass it on, you never know who you might help. You might help your neighbor. You might help your cousin. You might help your stranger you meet at work. You know? Who then in return they don't become a stranger because they realize, oh, you're serious and you're honest and you're willing to help me. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I've chosen to do with the gift that I've gotten for free, is give it to everyone for free. And be willing to put it out there. I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'm darn proud of it. I'm not proud that I was an alcoholic, but I'm proud that I'm recovering because I'm not chasing that drink anymore. I'm not wasting that money on that anymore. So it's just a better life. It's hard at first. Not going to be easy ride. It's going to be really bumpy, but it's worth it. If I can do it, you can do it. Like I said, you just have to want it bad enough. Simple. The steps are hard when you're thinking, oh no, what am I got myself into? I was stuck on step 4 for a long time. For a long time, I was on step 4. It's like, I don't want to do this. But I finally did. And when I talked it over with my sponsor, and I understood what was my fault and the amends that I needed to make for it. And I could finally let it go because I wrote it all down on a piece of paper and I let my sponsor read it. She was the only one to read it. And then I held on to it for a while and I was like, well, I think I'm ready to let this all go. And I let it go. I burnt it. I burned all of that up. I just burn it and it's gone. So I try to not bring up my past of childhood issues and stuff like that because that is my past. It is not my present. My present is a lot better than what it was. So you just need to want it and want it for you, not for anybody else. Because if you're planning for somebody else, that is not always great, you know. I have plenty of other friends and family members that have gotten sober as well, and uh, they know that the struggle and the daily life that you gotta live being sober, and so um, but then we completely understand each other, and then we can have that in common to talk about too. So I'm just grateful to be here, to be sober, to be part of a community that loves me, and be having friends who truly care, and having my family back, and all of that good stuff, and having a job, and liking my job. My job is pretty cool. So, and then this job is even better. But anyways, I'm gonna say the Serenity Prayer and then get off of here. I'm going to need to end the live on my phone, which is Facebook. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. I won't say names because I never know if you want people to know who you are. So, thank you very much for being here. And there's an app that you can download for daily reflections. It'll keep track of your days that you have sober, um, and you can read your daily reflections and that stuff there. So, thank you, Facebook friends and family, for being here. And I hope you come over to YouTube and catch me over there. I'm live on there every Tuesday and every Saturday, normally at 11 a.m., but today I decided to work, so I will be live again tomorrow morning at 7:15 a.m. for adventures, and then Saturday for AA again at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. I will go live on Facebook also, so whichever one you can catch. Thank you for being here. Love you guys. Okay, let me end that and then get my hmm, okay. All right, so that is done. That was exciting. Doing something different every day. Let me close these. Yeah. Open that. So today I'm 8 years, 11 months, and 2 days, or 3,258 days. And here is the daily reflection, October 17th, a daily tune-up. Every day is a day when you must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 85. How do I maintain my spiritual condition? For me, it's quite simple. On a daily basis, I ask my higher power to grant me the gift of sobriety for that day. I have talked to many alcoholics who have gone back to drinking, and I always ask them, "Did you pray for sobriety the day you took your first drink?" Not one of them said yes. As I practice step 10 and try to keep my house in order on a daily basis, I have to acknowledge that if I Ask for a daily reprieve, it will be granted. So, with that, I'm going to say Serenity Prayer and then close out the meeting. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and thank you for watching and being a part of my channel and watching the replays and sharing me out for AA meetings. Um, I just hope it's reaching people that need it. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Love you guys.